how's it going? We are IGN Southeast Asia over here at Asia Comic Con 2018 with our third guest of the day. We have Michelle from Fundeavour.
Hello.
Okay, so if you guys don't know what Fundeavour is, Michelle, why don't you briefly explain to us what exactly is Fundeavour?
So Fundeavour is an influencer marketing agency. We work specifically with gamers, and our role is to nurture these gamers into talented YouTubers, live streamers, and so on.
Basically, she's helping cultivate the dream.
That's right. If you want to be a pro gamer or someone that makes gaming your professional career, come to us.
Okay, so Fundeavour is run by a two-man company, am I correct?
That's right.
So as of right now, how many streamers do you have under you guys right now?
We have 11 streamers.
Wow, okay.
These are 11 streamers and YouTubers. So typically what they do is they also do other things apart from streaming and YouTubing.
Right.
We have hosting, we have shoutcasting and all of that.
So you're basically honing talent here in Malaysia.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so currently, what are you guys working on right now?
So we've been working with a variety of brands. These can be brands that are naturally into gaming. So if you think about the Acer Predators, the Omen by HP is the ones that do gaming laptops, for example. We also work with brands that aren't necessarily at first glance gamer-oriented. So think of the Uniqlos.
Right.
The world. So we think of ourselves as sort of bridging the gap between brands that really want to get into gaming because gaming is a hot thing at the moment.
Right.
And we help them, figure out how to reach out to gamers.
Okay, so basically when you reach out to these brands, so how do you connect them with the gamers? Like exactly do they help the gamers grow?
Okay, so for the gamers, what we do is we have a platform, and this platform has free resources for people to access. Let's say you want to start streaming, but streaming is more than just turning on your PC and your webcam. It's having this program, setting up your layout, and so on and so forth. So this whole process is outlined on our website. You can access it for free. Obviously, you can sign up to us as well. And by doing that, you get to do little tasks that help you figure out how exactly to move to a point where brands would want to sponsor you.
Okay. So other than that, what are you guys working on as well in the meantime?
We're actually working on, basically what I mentioned, working with brands. So for the gamers or the streamers that are sufficiently with a large enough fan base that brands would like to work with them, we actually help them connect with each other, and we help the brands figure out which gamers to target and who to work with. And so we interface in that sense and help them get sponsorships and deals.
Okay, so basically you guys grow these streamers since they basically have no followers. So basically anyone, regardless of following, can join Fundeavour.
That's right. So anyone can join the website. And then what happens is if we feel that you have a high potential and you can work with brands and you're ready, what happens is we move you to the agency portion where we then help you connect with these brands in a more kind of individual way.
Okay, so you mentioned earlier you're doing a different sort of strategy and approach with your talent right now. Why don't you explain to us about it?
So so there's two portions to it, like I mentioned. When we first started out, of course, we were focusing a lot on building the community, figuring out how the streamer landscape is like the YouTuber landscape. So that portion we've kind of solidified. So in the past at least 6 months, what we've been doing is actually we're now focusing a lot heavier on the agency side, where we're looking at, these people can now progress and actually become full-time streamers and YouTubers. What do we then do to help them solidify that part?
Okay, that's very, very interesting. No wonder you've been kind of like, a different kind of approach before this. Before this, you were more posting about Fundeavour, but now I guess you've moved on to the next step.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since we developed that part, I think also what's important to know is that we're not completely shifting away from that. We're actually trying to maintain a bit of a balance now. So we've done things like the Streamers Workshop, which is actually happening in Battle Arena on the 22nd. We did a streamers LAN party. I guess you could say it's a LAN party. It's like a retreat, right?
Yes.
And this is something that we want to do to unite the streamers on different platforms, get them together, collaborate, and so on.
Okay, so right now, why don't you tell us a little bit about what are Fundeavour's achievements from maybe last year all the way till now?
So last year, and when we first started, we had nothing, right? So I think when we first started in 2017, early 2017, we had less than 10,000 members on the platform. We're now at 20,000.
Wow, okay.
We've also worked with, like I mentioned, a lot of brands. And these brands have been very supportive. They even surprise us to an extent because some of these brands are like, oh, you really want to reach out to gaming, but you know, there's so much passion involved. So some of the brands we've worked with, Tencent from China.
Wow, okay.
Uniqlo, like I mentioned. We've got the typical Acers, everybody. We've worked also very closely with Maxis. So all these brands, I think, is a reflection of actually the industry growing alongside us as well.
Okay, so what are your strategies in cultivating more local talents and streamers right now?
So we're actually planning to reach out a lot more in terms of, you know, I think the gap used to be that people didn't know about streaming on YouTube, and that's why I mentioned like at the start that was the focus.
Yeah, and now everyone knows about streaming and making videos right now.
So how do you take that to the next level?
Yes.
And I think that's the gap that we feel we can fill, because we know what the brands want and you know the level of quality that's involved. So in that sense, our strategy would be to really work closely with the high potential streamers and YouTubers. Not necessarily people who are already at that level, but people who we think really have what it takes. Just need a little bit of a push. So that's where we're working on.
So how do you know if your talent has what it takes exactly?
So it's a combination of things. We look at things like your dedication, and that's reflected through the consistency of how you produce your content. We look at attitude a lot. You know, that determines what happens when there's a brand that comes to you the day before you're supposed to publish a piece of content, and they're like, I want to change everything in here. Because that is how it works with, you know, clients and you know the customer relationship. So attitude, professionalism is something that we really value in terms of figuring out which streamers or YouTubers we work with. And obviously quality of the content, but there's a baseline to that. Once you pass that baseline, you know, we really do look for the soft skills after that.
Okay, so now that we've talked about what you guys achieved last year, let's talk about the future. What are your goals for 2018?
I think the main goal for us is to see the streamers and YouTubers that we work with really grow to a point where they can stand alone. And this is something that, you know, we like to talk about in like general terms. Like, I want to work myself out of a job. If I've worked myself out of a job in like managing you and figuring out how to, you know, connect with brands and so on, then I think that's when we're truly successful. So I think our goal is, number one, I suppose, to help these streamers be self-sustainable. Number two is obviously equip them with the skills that they need in order to even take themselves even further than what we can achieve.
All right, Michelle, I have one final question for you. Do you think it's possible for small-time streamers and YouTubers to... YouTubers, nice job, Tasha. YouTubers. Okay, let's try. Okay, I'll just clap here. Okay, Michelle, I have one last question for you. Do you think it's possible for small-time YouTubers and streamers to be self-sustainable in this industry?
I think it is possible. I think the goal is for them to get to a point where obviously they can pay their bills, which is what sustainability means. We have seen small streamers in Malaysia at least get to a point where they can pay their bills. One of our streamers, Adam, he started out not being able to pay his bills. He moved all the way from Kedah to KL, and he told his parents like, I'm going to try and make this work. So what happened was his parents were like, oh, you're clearly asking money from us for bills and stuff. It's clearly not working. But 2 weeks before he was meant to go back, he met us. And what happened was he started earning enough not only to pay his bills but to save up for the future.
Wow.
Yeah, and obviously his growth has been increasing exponentially as well. I think he started out at like probably like 5,000 fans, and now he's at 20,000, 30,000.
That's crazy. That's a really big growth.
But it takes attitude. It really does take like, you know, this self-driven approach, because what we can do is give you a nudge. And I like to say it like, we can open the door for you, but you have to walk through it.
That's true. You can't help someone who can't help themselves.
Ever.
Okay, so one final thing, Michelle. To those out there who are wanting to become a full-time YouTuber and streamer, what do you have to say to them?
Come join Fundeavour if you haven't already, and we will be hopefully a good resource for you to figure out what you need to go further. And most importantly, if that is a dream, don't let go of it. Like, make sure you've done all you can to try and push towards that dream. But obviously, remember the risks that you're taking as well.
All right, Michelle, thank you so much for stopping by. And we're here at Asia Comic Con 2018 for more gaming news and everything else in between. Check us out at c.ign.com.